On silence. It's been a few years since I've written an honest poem, which is to say, it has been a few years since I've written a poem. Given this practice, I figured I should start with something I know, my silence. In the summer of 2009, after returning from a 3-month internship in DC and graduating from college, I decided that I deserved a reward. So I'm in the customer service line at Walmart trying to pull a devious heist that only a broke and jobless, recently graduated college kid could concoct. I was going to return one game that I did not buy from this store and exchange it for Final Fantasy 13. This was my first adult decision outside of college. While waiting, I watched a man create a second line that effectively cut in front of everyone, and then 2 women told him that he could not do that. Retrospectively, his actions would be a prime example of white privilege, but given my rudimentary knowledge of what that was at the time, I just saw a white man try to create his own line and 2 black women tell him that he could not do that. He started to walk back, his footsteps heavy with resentment after being told that his discovery was not welcome. Jackhammered the ground. Just before returning to his place in line, he revved his chainsaw of a mouth just loud enough for everyone to hear. Go back to where he came from. His teeth nodded their ears for attention, and then there was silence. Enough to hear heads turn, muscles tensing, mouths attempting to inhale the oxygen out of the space in hopes that he may suffocate, so that no one has to reply back. Those would be his last words. But someone has to answer back, because those are the last words we all heard, and he is still standing. For that 19th century Confederate flag in the wind pride. For a poet that has performed in front of random people for 5 years, who has been a member of the Cross Cultural Center and considers himself an ally to fellow people of color and marginalized voices everywhere, I found myself looking for a corner in this line to take shelter in until this all blows over. Or worse, a corner to bury my tongue in and act as if I have never spoken. I am a poet that's all for show. I am a fraud. I am begging someone please answer back, because I am afraid that if I speak, it will be my last words before his 6-foot frame beats me for daring to be brown-skinned in a mouth. In a matter of life and death, fight or flight, I am the and, or, but. I am a no-show. I am excuses to avoid confrontation. My tongue is a vestigial organ. He's just saying that to get a reaction is the perfect speech to give before surrendering it. I'm the quiet Asian man he's always expected me to be. And I stood there, watched as his existence robbed us of our comfortable. And then the man in front of me shook his head in defiance and spoke, his thick Spanish accent a welcome relief, the pin drop from a grenade. You know what? No, that's not okay. I know. It sounds too simple to be a revolutionary slogan. But imagine the strength it must take to contain an explosion of rage behind your teeth and allow a calmer reply to go first. I watched as he continued to explain to the white man how wrong those words were. But the man just revved his chainsaw mouth louder, repeating "shut the fuck up" like a racist prayer, like an empty roar of a cornered beast, bully. It's funny how we dehumanize people once we realize they are our enemy, that we outnumber them, forgetting that our worst enemy comes from within ourselves. See, I stood there, a mute coward, silenced my own voice when it was needed to be loud, and got lucky that someone else spoke up. And now, I conveniently find my confidence and tongue in these words, on a piece of paper, 6 years later, where it's safe, where I am a memory's distance away from what happened. And what happened in the end was a mediated stalemate. Silence. No one was hurt. No one was taken away. The line moved. We all went home. We all learned what a real poet sounds like. See, these words must go beyond this stage and mic, beyond pen and pad. If lucky, it will be in books, but at its grittiest and most honest, it must exist in the unsafe, where there is silence, where someone is hurt, when everyone is taken away. These words must have you at the helm, staring down the barrel of a gun, ready